Hey, hi. So in this video, we will discuss about streams partitioning by. So let's say you have a stream and you want to divide that stream of data into just two groups for your business use case. So that's where we use partitioning by. So partitioning by is a collector, which is provided by the collectors class that divides a stream of elements basically into just two groups based on a predicate or a boolean condition which you specify. So the return type here is a map. Okay, if you see here, the key here is a Boolean type. This is a Boolean here, and we will return the elements which satisfies that condition into two groups. Either it can be a list of employees or list of accounts or a strings or a numbers. Okay. So in this use case, we just need only two groups, not more than that. If you need something like that, you can just go by grouping by. And after partitioning the data into two groups, you can also apply the downstream collectors on those partition. For example, let's say you want to count the number of elements in each partition, or you want to find the average of that specific partition, or you want, let's say, in the partition you are collecting a list of employees. You don't want the entire object as such. So you just want the employee name. So in that case, you can use something which is called as a mapping. So this is a very simple example of a stream of numbers. Let's say we have a stream of numbers and let's say we want to divide them into two groups of even and odd. So this is an odd group and this is an even group. Okay, we specify a predicate here to divide that number. So here is snippet code. Okay, here is a list of numbers which we have, and we stream it and use a collect method, and within that you specify the partitioning by, and this is the predicate. Okay, this is a predicate which we specify to divide that specific group, and the output here, if you see here, we get it in this manner. So we have a key here, and then we have the list of elements which satisfy that condition, and key as false and key as true. So this is a true condition and these are the even numbers. That is what we wanted here, and that is what is the key here. So after partitioning the data using partitioning by, we can also perform operations on that partition using a downstream collector. Okay, here, so let's say we have partitioned them into two groups of even and odds, and now we want to count what are the number of even and odd numbers there. So if you for that, you need to specify something called as a collectors dot counting. It is applied to each partition here, and based on that it is going to give us the number of elements which are satisfying. The odd number of elements are 4 here, so the even number of elements are 4 here, so the condition true is equal to 4, and for odd it is false. So this is a downstream collector which we can apply. Similarly, let's take an example of an object like an account here. Okay, instead of just numbers or strings. So here also we can partition by. We just specify on what basis we want to partition it. Let's say anybody who is having the amount greater than 50,000, we want to partition. Let's say we want to partition to premium accounts and the normal accounts in that manner. So you partition it by this 50,000 here. Now after partitioning, we don't want the entire object here in the list. So what we want is only the names here. So here we don't have a list of accounts. What we have is a list. We want only just an account name. So if you see, the output here is a list of string. So we use a mapping function for the same, and we'll get an output in this manner. If you see, you don't have the entire employee object here. We just have a name like Harish and Jimla, who are satisfying the condition. So what are the use cases? Okay, let's say a simple example. Let's say you want to split a pass or fail students, or you want to divide an employees by very high salary and low salary, or you want to split any e-commerce products by their availability, or you want to split accounts into premium and normal accounts. Just two groups. That's where the use case. So let's write some code for it. So okay. So if you see here, I've already created an account record here, and also I have stream partitioning by. So let's take an example which we saw earlier in the slide. So this is a very simple example. So we have the list of numbers, okay, and for that numbers we are calling the stream, and then we're using collect partition by, and here we have specified the predicate. Okay, let's see what is an output here. So if you see, we have split the group into two parts, and we have key as true, and the values which are satisfying that condition similarly here false as a key. Okay, so this is a very simple example. So let's say we want to apply a downstream collector to the given example. So we can just use that. Okay, I think it is this one. I need to use the counting here. Okay, so what here we to do here is in the partitioning by, right? You have to specify one more argument like collectors dot counting for that. So it will not return the list of element. It will just return the count of those elements. See, it is returning the count of the number of elements which are satisfying the condition. A similar manner we have done it for the accounts as well. So I have created a record type for it. Okay, so if you see here, I have created a record which takes in the account ID, account name, and the amount in that account. Okay, and so I have created here three accounts. Okay, with different names and the amount specifying. So here what we are doing here is we're splitting the account into two groups. If the amount is greater than 50,000, we're creating two partitioning, and to those partitioning what I'm trying to do here is I'm just getting those names for that specific partitioning who are satisfying that condition. So instead of list of account, you're getting a list of string here. So let us run this. So if you see here, so for a given key true and false, so we are getting the account names which are satisfying this specific condition. Harish and Jim here. So both are satisfying the condition. So we are getting this specific output here. I think that's it from my side. I hope this tutorial was very helpful to you. Thank you.